people who love Shedeur Sanders think, oh, here we go, we got our guy. And then all the people who are skeptical are like, okay, so you beat the Raiders. So next week, this coming week, you got the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a step up in talent, step up in competition. Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barbin. With me is Jeff Dover, and let's talk football.
We're a couple of average football fans that watch the college and the NFL. We hope to earn your like and subscribe today. This is our review of the Browns-Raiders game. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, Shedeur Sanders has one start and one win.
You know what? That's not nothing. I'll give you that. My part was going to say this looked like two and 8 teams going at it most of the game.
That's exactly what it looked like. I mean, all right. I don't know how. He's obviously controversial. He's a bit of a lightning rod. Everyone has a strong opinion on Sanders. It's the only reason we're covering this is because it's so interesting. I mean, I'm right in there. I'm super curious to see, can he compete at this level? The Browns quarterback situation has been such a mess and so up in the air. Sure, let everyone take a shot at it. Flacco was there, then he's gone. Gabriel's in for a bit. Now Sanders. Might as well test out everybody you got on the roster.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I think that when I was watching him, first of all, Cleveland didn't ask him to do too much. Like, he had 20 pass attempts. You can go on YouTube and say, like, show me every pass attempt and completion that Sanders had, and the video's under 6 minutes. So they didn't ask him to do too much, right? And he was on a college team that wasn't that good, like he would get, his offensive line wasn't that good. He would get a lot of pressure and stuff. So I feel like this is something that he's not unaccustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's still early to tell if he's going to be good or not, or if he's going to work out or not. Like there's been a lot of examples where that people think about a certain way about someone and things change, like Sam Darnold,
Mm-hmm.
or Baker Mayfield, right? So it's too early to tell, but like it was, both Cleveland and Las Vegas are not that good. That's really the defenses are good, but I can't tell sometimes when I watch this game if it's the defenses that are that good or the offenses are just that bad.
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Cleveland's defense is legitimate. And they've actually even added pieces like Graham. He just looks like a beast up there, as if that defensive line needed more power. But I mean, Myles Garrett was just all no one can actually block him at all.
No.
It doesn't matter what team it is. But this offensive line is exceptionally bad in Las Vegas.
Yeah. The Myles Garrett projected right now is to have 27.8 sacks on the season, which is ridiculous. And that's mostly because of his last 5 games. He's had 14 sacks, which is an amazing season total. So that he's just an absolute monster.
Yeah. He's completely at the peak of his powers,
yes.
Which is unfortunate that he's on a now a 3-8 team that's going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
And okay, so, I mean, I guess we should talk a little bit about the actual game itself versus just the players. So Sanders goes 11 for 20, 209 yards. And to your point, a lot of it was just let the players go. Like Sampson went for a 66-yard run that was a pass or a pass. It was a pass behind the line of scrimmage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's fine. If your playmakers can take off, there's nothing wrong with that as a style of play. And he also hit the one bomb to Isaiah Bond running
really
out of
good
the pocket.
Pass. Really good pass on the move.
Yeah, which it's very familiar if you watched him in Colorado. That's kind of a lot of what he was doing there was your point, getting out of harm's way and throwing the ball downfield, because Colorado's offensive line left a lot to be desired, just like this offensive line does.
Yeah. And he had a touchdown pass. He had an interception. The interception was bad. It looked like he threw it right at the Raiders guy that was flat-footed. Should have been another interception. I think there was another one that went right through the Raiders player's hands. But he got sacked once, which is saying something for, because that was not the same with the quarterback across the field from him on this game.
How bad Geno Smith, I know that you could say it's the offensive line, and the offensive line for sure is horrifically bad, but Geno Smith is not an NFL quarterback.
10 sacks, man. 10 sacks is really bad.
My God. I think he lost 77 yards or something like that on sacks. So it's funny if you look at the box score, it's 285 yards passing, but a net of 208. Because he lost all of those yards in sacks, which go against your passing yards in the NFL.
Right, and they also had 13 penalties for 109 yards. So that's because it's not like Cleveland really blew them away on offense, but they still won by 2 touchdowns, which is a
Yeah.
fair bit in the NFL, right? It's really because of the sacks and all the penalties are just killing the Raiders. The Raiders also dominated the time of possession at 36 minutes to 23, but they lost by 2 touchdowns, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the Browns was like a quick strike offense in this game. It was a
Yeah.
couple of big plays, and then Judkins on the Wildcat formation,
Oh,
2
really good.
touchdowns. It's a great formation. Like that
Yes, it is.
seems to be working for them.
Yeah, no, he's really good. Samson is really good. Like he's shown flashes a bit. He flew through on that like screen pass slash short pass, and just ran through the defense. Like so,
Mhm.
they've got some talented young players. So that's if you're a Cleveland fan, you want to see more Dylan Sampson.
Yep, and Judkins and Fannin. Fannon's
Hmm.
got some work to do on blocking. I've seen some analysis of him where he's really not sure what's going on, but he's a good receiver, and there's plenty to work with as far as like his raw talent.
Hmm.
So he's going to come along, and that could be a nucleus moving forward, like Judkins, Sampsons, and Fannin. Like there's your running backs and your tight end of the future,
Hmm.
and we got to see. There needs to be some work at wide receiver because Jerry Judy ain't it.
No,
I
no, and
mean,
it,
what was
yeah.
he doing on that fumble
That
where
was
he
really bad. That can't happen. And a game where whoever, when you're on Cleveland, whenever they complete a pass, it's a big deal. Like that, it takes trying to balance with the run in the pass, and you don't want to put too much pressure on the young guy. And he complete that was an important pass he completed. And then it was such a casual, like not, holding onto the ball. And they obviously didn't see the guy behind him, but man, was that terrible. Yeah.
it's just it's such a lack of awareness, and
Hmm.
he's doing that whole like I don't know that skip hop step trying to decide if he's going to go which way he's going to cut, and he just looked like such an idiot in that moment, not knowing that people were like there's trailing defenders coming. Yeah, okay, I know it's the Raiders, but you can't believe that everyone you're past is just out
Yeah.
of the play. Like they're gonna
No.
pursue, and the casual nature in that moment, and even the announcers were like, what does he think he's doing here? It's just,
Yeah.
and everyone could see it coming, like just the way he was holding the ball like a loaf of
Mhm.
bread, had no idea what was behind him, and it's actually jarring in an NFL game to see what's a veteran. This guy's been in the NFL for a while
Mhm.
now. Be that situationally unaware of himself on the field.
Yeah. No, and it was an absolute like if Cleveland didn't win this game, that would have been everyone would have remembered that play, because it would have been a real significant change of the possession. Because Cleveland didn't win the turnover battle, right? They lost those 2 turnovers to 1. So luckily it didn't hurt them that much, which is rare because normally in the NFL you pay for a mistake like that.
Yeah, the Raiders don't make anybody pay though.
Yeah.
This team. I mean, I don't know what to even make of this. Okay, so let's talk about the Raiders for a bit here, then we'll finish talking about the Browns. So they just fired Chip Kelly, which I thought, yeah, long time coming, whatever. And I think they've already fired their special teams coordinator. But that's just nipping at the edges. The whole coaching staff has to go. Like this has to overhaul. I sometimes I troll on Raider fans on X and just want to see what they're thinking. It seems as though Raiders fans they think it's like a top down, like if Davis is the owner,
Mhm.
almost like Dallas fans and Jerry Jones. They're like, well, as long as he owns it, it's going to be a mess because he
Mhm.
just doesn't know what he's doing. So I don't think some of the more, I don't know, the heartbroken Raiders fans who are that don't believe there is any way of fixing it with this ownership. So I don't know. I
Mhm.
still think Carroll's not the answer. They got to go with a new and up and coming coach, like the Ben Johnson type of thing, not
Mhm.
not the recycled fossil who's now putting his son in a position that maybe not hasn't deserved it. And with this, for some reason, this loyalty to Geno Smith, who's just not an NFL quarterback.
Mhm. I mean, again, I didn't hate on Geno Smith too much in this game. Like he was 30 for 44 and 285 yards, and he had absolutely no time back there, in terms of throwing. So, but No, I agree with what you're saying. There has to be a wholesale change, and what's really tough if you're a Raiders fan, like there's some parts of the team I really like Crosby's really good. Like the defense overall was pretty good. It held Cleveland to not much, and I think Ashton Genty's going to be good, and and Browers is really good. Like they were doing everything they could to take away Bowers. Like he was double teamed a lot. Like he had a lot of safety over the top help because they didn't want, and he still had 6 receptions for 55 yards. So
Mm-hmm.
he's really good. So if you're a Raiders fan, there's some parts of this team that you really like, but yeah, overall, they're 2-9 for a reason. So
Yeah, Bowers is one of the it's funny because they for such a terrible team, they have a top 5 player at their respective positions in Crosby and Bowers. Like you
yep,
got to say Crosby's a top 5
oh
DN
yeah,
and Bowers is a
hmm
top 5 tight end. And
Crosby
but
had
that's
5 tackles for a loss in this game, which is
right, but
amazing.
yeah, but the two of them can't that's not two players does not an NFL team make. You
No,
need a whole lot more going on here and the amount of work that needs to be done to rebuild this team. I mean, it's so much. It's not they're
yeah,
not a player away. They're a New England Patriots rebuild. Like they need that. They need to land their Drake May, whoever that is going to be in the next couple of years. The
hmm
whole thing starts there. Obviously, without the franchise quarterback, it doesn't matter what's going on. But the
hmm
amount of work that needs to be done here, I can't even picture it. Like I can't even picture how
no,
much has to change to get this team to be a winning team.
No, and it kind of reminds me of the Jets, right? It's like the Jets when they drafted a couple quarterbacks, they didn't work out, like and the team, you know, that needs to have an overhaul, right? So it's really like you said, they're not close, which is disappointing.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder if Crosby and Bowers at some point take a look in the mirror and be like, "What am I doing here? Like, am I going to actually go 2 and 3 more years into my career?" Specifically Crosby, right? Bowers is even younger, but is Crosby really want to spend the rest of his career eking out 3, 4, 5 wins a year,
Yeah.
having no shot at the playoffs, let alone any legitimate run at the conference championship or the Super Bowl? That's too good of a player to not get himself in a position to have any sort of shot
hmm
at the playoffs. And then likewise, Myles Garrett, same thing. I mean, they
Yeah.
both took big contracts, and I think it's a long way away from ever seeing a playoff run for either of these guys.
Yeah, no, and you see this in other sports every now and then. Like Mike Trout has been a generational talent in Major League Baseball and like hasn't made the playoffs, and a lot of people on the East Coast hasn't seen him play because he played, as plays out in California. So yeah, it's as a fan, it's you'd like to see the best players play like in the playoffs, like best on best kind of situation, and I'd love to see Garrett or Crosby in a big game in the playoffs, and I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, so I guess it's up to them whether or not they have no trade clauses or whether or not they just get
Opt outs or whatever.
opt
Yeah.
outs or fed up with the situation they're in. I
Yeah.
just I just don't see how. I mean, they both they there's no give up in either of them.
No.
Even though we had two teams that have only have 2 wins battling away there and lighting it up on both sides. But at some point, I just can't imagine how they just want to take the field knowing that the season's already over.
Yeah. No, it's really hard. And again, if you Cleveland, like you've got some nice young pieces there. That defense is legitimate.
Mhm.
They feel less like a total rebuild than the Raiders. Like they feel like they're more of a couple pieces away kind of thing to be more competitive. So that was the feeling that I had.
Oh yeah, yeah. Swessinger is awesome at middle
Yes.
linebacker. He was a walk on too.
Yeah, that's
So he
crazy.
he's awesome. That defense. Okay, so yeah, their defense is all the way there. The Browns
Mhm.
have a defense that could take them a long way in the playoffs, but their offense is, man, does it ever need some work? And the one of the well, first of all, we don't know who the starting quarterback is. I think Sanders. I think I just saw an article saying Sanders will get the start next week,
Okay.
regardless if Gabriel clears concussion protocol,
Mm.
which is fine. You know what? Let him. Let's see what you got here. It's not obvious that Gabriel's should be the starter. It's not obvious who should play quarterback on this team. So you might as
Mhm.
well get some reps in here. And it's not like whoever's starting is gonna, oh my goodness, you should have started the other guy because you were gonna make the playoffs. This team's not going to the playoffs, right?
No.
So let's just see what you got.
Yeah.
But there's no, like, who is the receiving threat on the Cleveland Browns that you're like, oh man, we really got to focus on that guy?
Yeah, not much. I mean, it's Bond's not bad. Fannin, like you said, has shown flashes of being good. Judy doesn't seem like he's the answer. I mean, he's not a bad. He's a serviceable wide receiver. So like it is really this feels like a really shut down defense, and they should lean heavily into running the ball and just pass enough just to keep the defense honest. Would be a good way to go forward. They also struggled with running the ball. So that's not a good sign either, but
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why they're 3-8. But I mean, there is a path to success, I think.
Yeah. They're much closer to being a competitive team than I think the Raiders are. So,
Yeah.
well, anyways, so I mean, okay, so then let's finish with the Browns. What can we say about the Browns? Like you just said, that's a legitimate defense, need more weapons on offense, specifically receiving weapons. And I think their running weapons are good. Samson and
Yeah.
Judkins could be this long-term two-headed running back monster. I think they're both great running backs, but that running game is not good. Maybe that's something to do with how the quality of the offensive line. So there's still work to be done here. And it's still a question mark. I know that the people who love Shedeur Sanders think, oh, here we go. We got our guy. And then all the people who are skeptical are like, okay, so you beat the Raiders. So next week, this coming week, you got the Niners. So it's a step up in talent, step up in competition. And, good that he's got a win under his belt and navigated the offense, didn't put the ball really in harm's way besides that. Well, the one bad pick. And I think you said the other one, the Raiders guy dropped it, but
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah.
even the best quarterbacks throw picks in the NFL. It's normal for a rookie to get fooled here and there on a play. And in that case, in the pick he did throw, the defensive lineman was showing that he was rushing, dropped out. He just wasn't anticipating him being there. But even the best quarterbacks can get caught on that one if you do it right. So
Yeah, no, and I think that and you had a good point. Like it's going to step up in competition against the Niners. It's at least it's at home, so that's nice. And then the next game's the Titans, and I think that if he starts the next two, I think he could go 1-2, in those games, and that's not bad. So you'd take that.
Yep. So we'll see. It's way too early to say if he's going to turn into a true starter or not, but I know that's the buzz everywhere. Like everyone's talking about it. So, we had to cover it here there's no other reason why we would cover two teams with like 2 wins, but he's a lightning rod.
Great example about the draft too, right? Because Samson was a 4th round pick and he looks great. Gabriel they got in the 3rd round. Fannin they got in the 3rd round. Judkins was in the 2nd round, and Swetzinger was in the 2nd round too. So like those are all, really good job by them, because they're all impact people right now, which is what you want.
That's like a core. That's a core of the team moving forward. Like that's your starting middle linebacker for the next 10 years, as long as he's healthy.
Yeah. And Mason Graham had a good game too. You don't see him that much because it's more of a D-tackle type situation, but like he had 5 tackles, I think, total.
Oh, no, he's awesome. Graham is awesome. Again, that's another core piece on that defense.
Yeah.
Like right up the middle, you've got a core D-tackle now who should be part of that team for as long as he wants to be there. Swessinger's your middle backer. And I mean, you've got two running backs that I think are completely legit moving forward, and a tight end who, if he keeps progressing, could become a really good tight end. So that's like a big time hit. If you have 2 guys that last past their first contract in any draft, that's like good. They might have 4 in this draft that stay on the team and are good enough to be given a second contract. So that's like a huge hit.
Yeah.
And that's like that's how these teams turn themselves around, right? Is 2 or 3 big drafts and they all hit. So we'll have to see. The Raiders need to hit about 6 drafts in a row, I think. Jeez. Anyways, that's all I got on my notes. You got anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, so, well, if you're still with us, we appreciate you checking out the channel. We know it's small. We just started it last year. So if you like what we have going on and you'd like to support us, a like and a subscribe would go a long way, and we'd really appreciate it. So for Jeff Dover, I'm John Barbin, and that's your Saturday versus Sunday podcast.